Oh, baby, round 2. We said we'd do it, Scotty
Let's do
Thurman.
it, baby. Let's do it.
We doing it.
Let's
good.
do it. Trying to be like you, man.
Yeah, right. So there you go. The great Scotty Thurman, Rustin Rifle on the X, on the socials. And, man, November already here. It's been like a year since we last had a sit-down.
Yep.
He literally doesn't age.
Wow.
What's the key, Scotty? How do you stay forever young?
Well, I try to exercise at least 5 days a week. And, since I've hit 50, I try to eat a little bit differently. And, not many late nights. I'm in the bed pretty early, so I can wake up pretty early. So those are the keys for me.
You're an early riser.
Early riser.
I think it's important to do that. I mean, career-wise, I'm the same way, but I just feel like it's more of a natural flow when you do that. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you're a couple years older than me, but not much, and you sure don't look it. I've noticed, too, you get into your 40s and then your 50s, life goes along, you can't eat the same. You can't do things the same. You almost have to be more particular with every step. I mean, that's part of the process of living a life, right, Scotty?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I've catch myself eating things that I wouldn't normally eat. My wife being a physician, she's really big into certain things now, and so I just try to follow her plan. So I've kind of got a little bit of a cheat code.
Now, I had a salad for lunch yesterday, and I was really proud of myself. I don't think I would have done that 20 years ago, but it was okay.
I'm proud of you, man.
It was okay.
Keep up the good work.
You and your wife have been together for a really long time.
Long time.
Tell me about Dr. Thurman and your incredible relationship, 30-plus years married for going on 25. I mean, that's not easy to do, Scotty.
Definitely not easy to do. We met here at the University of Arkansas. She was on the pom and cheer squad when I played here. She was actually here before I got here. She had the opportunity to cheer for the Mayday group as well.
Really?
And so we met as a freshman. I was a freshman. She was a junior. And so we've managed to establish a long-term relationship through not just sports, but academics as well. She worked in the athletic department as a student tutor.
Really?
That's how we became a couple.
So, I mean, that was just the stars aligning. It was meant to be, right?
It was definitely the stars aligning. I'm glad they aligned the way that they did. I mean, we've been together for a while. We've gone through a lot. We've got 2 beautiful kids and 2 grandkids out of the deal. So I think we're doing pretty good.
Scotty and I talk a lot, off the air. You guys get to see more sports stuff. If you're looking right now on the YouTube channel, you're like, JB, I thought it was you and one of the greatest basketball players ever. It is. But it's important to think big picture, I think, about how people, live their lives and how they get to be who they are. And Scotty, I said to you, man, because me and Miss Meg have been married for going on 20. I'm like,
congratulations.
Yes, thank you. Yeah. And she's the best thing I got going, her and my kids. But, as I think about it, I'm like, it's hard. How do you do it? And what did you say back to when I said, how do you stay together for that long? What did you say?
Patience. Yeah, a lot of patience. And then just understanding that it's a partnership. It's not an individual deal. Mm-hmm. And then you got to figure out a way to get along. As sometimes as guys, we want to try to run everything. And you don't get that opportunity being in a marriage.
No, you do not. It's okay. You told me it's okay to take some L's, JB. You can take some L's.
Yeah, you're going to take some L's. Yeah, you're definitely going to take some L's.
So you travel all the time. You talk very casually. My kids, my grandkids, but you are always moving. Obviously, a proud grandpa, but you still got a daughter who's a volleyball player. Right. And so, I mean, you make the rounds. You go to the games, Scotty.
Yeah, I go to every game. Since she's been back here, I think when she was at North Carolina, I got the opportunity to see about 17 of them.
Okay.
Obviously, I was coaching at the time, so it was a little bit more difficult to get in and out. But now that I'm no longer coaching and I've got a lot more flexibility in my schedule, we make every game since she's been here at the U of A. And my wife would not have it any other way.
What's that like raising, your son obviously too, what's that like raising athletes? I mean, you're an elite athlete, but then you raise Division I athletes.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I raised them to be athletes. I just think that they kind of found their own niche. My son played baseball and was involved in taekwondo and track and all types of things growing up. Same with my daughter. And so I never knew that my son would be a college football player. I never knew my daughter would be a college volleyball player. But those things just kind of worked out that way.
That's awesome. So, and you're tight with your crew, and obviously we're going to talk some hog hoops here. And, man, that was one thing I wanted to ask you for a thought on was your boy Dwight Stewart.
Yeah.
Got inducted right to the Hog Hall of Fame, a month or 2 ago? Yes. So give me a thought on your boy there.
Man, I'm so excited for him. I mean, when I found out about it, I was calling him and wearing him out a little bit because it hadn't been released to the public yet. I was fortunate enough to find out early, and I just wanted to congratulate him because he was always very soft-spoken, doesn't really like the limelight, but was a hell of a player. And I think what he put into that team goes unnoticed a lot. And so I was just glad he got his day.
It's a pretty nice thing for you to say as one of the most famous players in Hog program history. I mean, on that team, when people think back, it's always right. It's Nolan, it's Corliss, it's Scotty, it's Corey, and then they start kind of filling in the pieces. But you're right, for such a great player and such a deft, big guy to have
Right.
those skills right at
Right.
that size, he doesn't get enough love. And of course, he is the guy who kicked it to you for the shot that won the whole thing.
He's the guy that had the presence of mind to do so, because I mean, people forget the big fella could shoot it. And
He
if
was
you-
ready to make that
yeah,
shot, Scott.
And if you think about it, his career when he first got here, he was coming behind Oliver Miller.
Right.
The expectation was for him to be Oliver Miller, shot blocker, rebounder, good passer. Big O could step out and shoot as well. But Dwight could put it on the deck. He could shoot it. He could pass it. And he could post. But that's not what he wanted to do. His preference was being an outside big. Back then, it was called soft, though.
Right.
It wasn't really skilled.
And now everybody shoots the three.
Everybody shoots the
Victor
three.
Wembanyama, he's 7'5" and he's jacking from
Yeah,
half court
yeah.
and making a lot of
And
them.
making a lot of them.
It's just
Could you imagine? I mean, Victor Wembanyama to me is Ralph Sampson reincarnated.
What a name! What a great player who never gets.
Yeah,
talked
when you
about.
think about someone 7'4", 7'5",
Virginia product.
Virginia
Yeah.
product. But when you go back, he was soft. Brad Sellers, 7
Right.
foot, he was soft. Nobody talked about the skill.
I love the Ralph Sampson shout out. He and Hakeem for a couple of years. Talk about the first Twin Towers. Really, they were so good together.
They
I think
really
they went
were.
to the finals a couple
They
times.
did.
They were that good.
They beat Boston. Robert Reed,
They-
inbounds play,
Right.
going in to make it.
Man, this guy is a basketball guru, and so I love talking with you on the show because we can always talk plenty of pro hoops. And I want to do that for a couple while I got you because it's always such a gift to have time with a guy like you, Scotty. Let's do Hog hoops.
Okay.
I get asked a lot, right? What do you think? What does your boy Scotty think? What does so and so think? I mean, that's why he's here. So last year when we spoke, it was very early in Cal year one,
Right.
and they took their lumps for a few months, but ended up going to the Sweet 16.
Had a great run.
Right, had a great run. Big class, couple huge commits in Thomas and Acuff, and couple exhibition games in the can as we get ready for the start of the season here in November.
Right.
How you feeling about Cal year 2?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I had this conversation with Corliss the other day. Same conversation with Lee Mayberry. Same conversation with Alex Dillard and Roger Crawford this morning. I've not been this excited in a while. I'll be honest with you. And not because I didn't like the teams that we had. I just didn't, you never really know. And so last year, Cal comes in, and it took me about 5 months to get used to seeing Cal on the sideline. Obviously, I've got to support him because he's a Hog coach,
No
but
doubt.
it took a little while for me. And after I saw the run that they had, it really kind of made me a believer, in terms of what he's doing. And so looking at this team, I was fortunate enough to go to the game when they played Cincinnati. I love the pace. I love the sharing of the basketball. I love the fact that we got numerous guys that can knock down shots. Darius Acuff appears to me like he can just get by anybody off the dribble whenever he wants. A little bit concerned about the interior, although those guys do look like good players. I just think that we've got to figure out a way to score down low a little bit more.
Cal talked about in the offseason, he thought that was one of the shortcomings
Right.
last year. Brought him some new faces, obviously Ewan and Pringle. And I mean, I was thinking about this earlier when we talked. I think Brazil's going to be one of those guys. You need him to bang a little bit on the blocks and score.
And he's looking really, really good. He looks as healthy as I've ever seen him, probably since he first got to Missouri. And to just see him, I saw him grabbing guys and pulling guys to him. He's taking on that leadership role. And Cal has put the pressure on him by saying what he expects from this young man. I think he's trying to give it to him.
I think so too. You can't have enough guards, or at least that's the philosophy they're using. Man, they have so many guards. It's going to be hard for guys who don't play well to get
Right.
any minutes. You got to play well when you're out there. And
Right.
you brought up Acuff. I was loving on Malik Thomas a little bit to you earlier, and you're appropriately like, let's let them
Right.
play a little. But those guys, and then you bring back Wagner and Knox, and oh my goodness, what depth they have at guard, Scotty.
Man, it's so crazy. We're talking about everybody but DJ Wagner.
Right?
Him being a leader on his team. And I think he's still trying to figure it out. I think he's allowing some of these guys to kind of get their sign. He's been in the spotlight since he was in high school. So I think we're going to need him to lead us, especially when those games slow down. It's not so fast and not so free. You got to execute in half court, and he's the one guy that we know we can put the ball in his hands. He can get us into something.
Yeah. Money schedule for them. I mean, a lot of games away from home, but you're taking on pretty much all comers, right? I think they're playing like the whole Elite Eight field from last year,
yeah.
which means, like we talked a little, you might go into January, folks, and all of a sudden you're like, man, the Hogs they're 9-3, they're 8-4, but with their strength of schedule, with the big picture of March down the line, I don't think you can sweat a few early losses,
No, you bet not sweat a few. I mean, they're playing the who's who of basketball. And so I think it's going to be some challenges early. I don't want people to look at the exhibition games and get so far ahead down the line.
Final Four, baby.
Everybody's saying Final Four. I think it's too early to say that, and you still got to remember, for teams to win it, I always tell people, if you're going to win the national championship, you got to pick a team who can win 6 games in a row. It's not about getting there. It's not about winning a game. It's about winning 6 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Can this team do that? We'll see.
Cal, I mean, he's a little more aloof's the right word, right? But he's a little less approachable.
Right.
Deeper in his career, Hall of Famer, has had people coming at him for 50 years. I got to spend a little time with him at his kids camps this summer, right, with the kiddos, and there's a warmth there. He's got that grandpa vibe, and he's more of a real person than maybe I gave him credit for last year, Scotty. But he's different. What's your kind of take on Cal? How do you describe him so far here now as he moves into his second year?
Well, I haven't had any interaction with Cal.
No?
I've had 0 interaction with Cal.
Okay.
And a lot of that is intentional, because I'm one of those people, being a former player, you come around, everybody's got opinions, everybody wants to say what they see. And so I just kind of like to see from the background. I watch. Obviously, I'm going to support him, because he's, the head hog.
Mm-hmm.
I've still got to get used to seeing him with that hog on his shirt. That's still a big deal for me. But, I mean, I'm supportive of what he's doing, and I'm sure at some point we will cross paths and have the opportunity to maybe chit-chat, but that just hasn't happened.
Okay, that's a real answer. I like that. At some point, he needs to make that happen. I think he's one of those guys who likes to get the lay of the land. And, look, he's only been here for a year and a half, so we'll give him a little more time. But speaking of that, obviously it's time to really talk expectations, and I'm looking around college hoops, and Florida looks loaded again. Yep. Auburn's going from father to son, which I think takes them down a little bit.
I agree.
Alabama's still knocking on the door. You and I were talking about some of the I mean, it's really hard to win a national championship, Scotty. I'm not trying to throw any shade here at Hog fans who are watching or listening to this, but Scotty, that is one of the reasons why what y'all did lives on forever.
Right.
It is so hard. What was it? So hard to win 6 in a row.
6 in a row.
Harder now than then?
And, yes, because you got a different team every year. And everybody, I tell people this all the time, everybody feels good about their team in October.
Of course.
If you think about it, we felt really good about our team before we started the season last year. Mm-hmm. We hit conference, everybody was, woe is me. We go on a run, now we're getting ready to win the national championship. Mm-hmm. Come back with a lot of talent, now we're getting ready to win the national championship. And so I tell people, the people who say it so easily have never done it. Mm-mm. And so, I think this team has the talent and the potential to do so. I just think we've got to see it, and I'm one of those guys, I'm a believer in what I see, not what I feel. I feel like I want us to be really good, but at the end of the day, we got to go out there and show it.
Well, that's why you're a talented broadcaster and commentator, and got a lot of different perspectives on things that people don't have. So, look, they got the chance. They'll be in the tournament. We'll see if they can make some noise. It's the thing you got to follow all year. And back to you and your crews. I mean, you guys had those back-to-back crazy deep runs, title and final, and yet along the way, both times, we talked about that last time, there's some nip and tuck games. There's no linear path to winning a championship.
No, because each matchup is different. Each game is different. And then they've got film. You've got film. They've got talent. You've got talent. And so on any given night, anyone can be beat.
One of the best games of your career was against Syracuse in '95. You were sensational. It was 30-plus in that game. I think it was highly efficient. You didn't take a bunch of shots, but you were making everything. Cuse played great that night, too. I remember watching that as a teenager. And, my grandpops went there, so before I did, I was a Cuse guy, but everybody in the country loved the Hogs at the time. The president was from Arkansas. Nolan was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. That game in the second round was one of the best college basketball games I remember watching. Went to overtime, big rallies, so many great players. You were obviously one of the elite players in the game. So was my guy Lawrence Bowden on Syracuse. He passed recently. You were one of the first people I thought of when that happened because you guys were in that great game. You're a young buck, but you're getting older. What does it mean when you hear something like that, a guy who's barely in his 50s passing away?
Man, it's tough.
That's a heavy question, I know.
It's really tough. It was really emotional for me because those are the things you think about. I lost my mother at 53. Lawrence Bowden passed at 53. We lost Ron Hury just a few years ago.
Yeah.
We lost Lindsey Howe a few years ago. And so it starts to date you a little bit. You start thinking about, the things you should be doing, things you want to make sure, the relationships you want to keep corrected, so that, if God forbid you happen to be the person to check out of here, those things are at least intact. And so that's kind of where I am at this point, trying to make sure that I'm enjoying this ride, but at the same time, continue to cultivate those relationships that I developed over the years so that when that does happen, it's not like I had relationships that were strained.
Right? Because you can't take it with you, as you were
Right.
saying to me earlier, and you're
Right.
so right. Not anybody, not ever, not a single dollar, none of it.
Right.
And so the thing that can live on is the relationships, the
Right.
connections, the influences. I still think about my grandparents all the time, and they're not here anymore, but I still think about
Right,
them.
every
So
day.
that's the stuff that really is immortal. Do you remember anything about Moan in that game in the high socks? He
Oh,
did
yeah.
call a timeout with 5 seconds left that cost his team the game.
Well, that's true and not true. His whole bench called a timeout. Everybody was screaming timeout, so it wasn't just
Okay.
him. It wasn't just him, but he had played a great game. Lawrence Moe was a smooth player. I mean, he scored and made it look effortless.
To the rack a lot.
To the rack.
Yeah.
The one thing people don't know about Lawrence that I knew because I followed his career, he was a hell of a receiver in high school. He was a big-time athlete, but people talked about he wasn't fast, but I think he caught for like 1,200 yards as a senior in football. And so he was one of those guys, man, that, you don't compete against a lot of guys that would say if you make a shot on them, good shot. So I learned a lot about him from a sportsmanship standpoint.
He was one of those guys.
Yeah, he was
I
a
like
real
that.
gracious type guy, and every time you saw him, it was always like you had been spending every day with him, and he'd shake your hand and hug you, man, how you doing, how's your family? And so that's what I remember about him.
That's great. That's great. I used to wear the 21 home white Keys jersey back in high school.
You were Lawrence Moten?
I mean, everybody was rocking that for a minute. I mean, wasn't quite Fab 5 level, but it was close. He was a pretty popular player for a minute.
He was.
He's still the all-time leading scorer in Syracuse history.
And probably will be because nobody will stick around.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I love your recollection there, and that was tough to see. But obviously, you keep moving forward, you keep living your life, you keep finding ways to be active, and it's not just Hogs right now, but obviously NBA starting back up. I told you we do that. I want to do that now.
Right.
You got to watch a couple of your connects, boys. I think what was Isaiah Joe and you knew each other a little further back. But what a year for the Thunder, and they're like 6-7-0 out the gates this year.
Yeah, man. Got a chance to visit with Zay last year. Got a chance to see him play. Got to go see Daniel Gafford this year, who I haven't seen play yet. And I got to go see, drawing a blank on one. Not just Daniel, it's Bobby. I haven't seen Bobby play live yet.
He almost had triple-double.
Yeah, so I want to go see him play, because he's a veteran. It sounds kind of funny to say, but he's always competed and played at a high level. And then I've got to go down to San Antonio and support Corliss and watch those Spurs.
Wembanyama's a freak. We already brought him up, but 7'5" play like that. His only thing I think is just durability. Like
That's it.
Healthy.
That's it. I mean, he's right now he's playing like an MVP candidate. I mean,
you can't shoot over him.
Can't shoot over him. He gets it off the glass and brings up the floor like a point guard, shooting one leg off the glass. I mean, it's crazy.
What other guys stand out? I mean, SGA. He gets a lot of knocks these days for drawing those fouls, but if it's a foul, it's a foul. What do you say about Shea?
Every scorer gets those calls. MJ got them. Magic would cry if he didn't get them, even though he wasn't necessarily a scorer. But, I mean, all stars get a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I mean,
LeBron's cried once or
LeBron
twice.
cries every trip. But great players, they expect those calls for whatever reason. At least SGA doesn't cry for them. He just gets them.
He just gets them.
Right.
Are they fouls?
Some are, some aren't.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
No. Makes it look like he sells it.
My problem with the fouls are that once a guy's allowed to take 3 steps, which is a travel in our world, it shouldn't be a foul unless it's actually like a butchering call. You take 3 steps, he's already gained an advantage. A tap on the wrist shouldn't be the end of the world.
That's a good one. Luka in LA, do you think that's working out there?
Not a big fan of it. I like Luka offensively, obviously, but my biggest problem with Luka and LeBron, when they don't get the call, they don't transition back on defense. And in today's game, you're playing against Oklahoma City and you're not sprinting back. You got guys spotted up for 3, and so it's costing you the game over the long haul.
They're so deep. They haven't even had their Jalen. Our Jalen just got back in the rotation, but the guy who was, almost the MVP in the finals last year hadn't even played yet. So they're so talented. Got to get down and see another Thunder game this year. How about my Knicks? Jalen Brunson looking good early.
Looking good early.
They got a new coach this year.
Right.
It might take them a minute, but they seem like they're a little looser, maybe a little happier in New York. I don't know if that's a good thing, Scotty.
Yeah, New York is just a tough place to play. I mean, you fire the coach of the year.
Finals.
And you bring in another coach of the year who's been coach of the year 4 times, and every time he's been coach of the year, he's gotten let go. So the NBA is a dangerous place.
Do you think the Knicks can get there? Can they?
I don't think they're winning it.
No.
I think they're a
No.
playoff team that can compete, but I don't think they can win it.
It's gonna be hard to beat OKC right now.
It's gonna be hard to beat OKC.
And then they got their own freak running around with Holmgren, 7'2", 7'3",
Yeah.
jumping through the roof. It's another guy you can't get a shot off. I mean, he can hit threes.
Yeah, their depth is something that most teams don't have enough of. But I will say this: with the pace of it right now, all these teams scoring all these points, it's a toss up on whether or not they can repeat.
6'8" Scotty Thurman hitting threes. I mean, did you realize you'd be such an influential player? Now everybody over 6'4" is shooting threes.
Everybody's shooting threes. I mean,
You used to get benched if you took a three as a big guy.
I was watching Gil's Arena the other day, and he was talking about how he averaged 30, and I think he shot 10 threes a game, and now teams are shooting 55 at this point in the season.
Arenas had a couple windows there where he's about as good as any player in the league.
For sure.
Reminds me a little bit of remember Glenn Rice for a minute back
Yes,
in the day,
indeed.
scoring like 30 a game.
Yep.
So we're getting ready for hoops to hit into full gear, and we're still looking for a football coach. Scotty, you're an alum. You're a grad guy. You're a professor, man. You should be on the board of trustees. Truthfully, I said it. But I mean, if you were, what kind of word would you have to say as far as the search for a next football coach?
I mean, I think we've got to be very strategic because, I mean, obviously you've got the buyout that you've got to pay Coach Pittman. Then I'm sure with some of the assistants that were held over, under Petrino, they probably got buyouts in their contract. Then you got to go out and pay a whole new staff. You see what the buyouts are for those, and that's just the head coach. So I think you got to consider the economics. You got to consider who can actually recruit the talent.
Yes.
And then I think as fans, we've got to be realistic and not think that you can win at a high level at Arkansas with just Arkansas kids. You got to get the best Arkansas kids for sure. But every Arkansas kid is not going to come to Arkansas and help them win a national championship. That's not realistic. On the flip side of that, if you can't get the best in Arkansas, you can't expect to get the best in Texas and Oklahoma and Louisiana and other states. And so I think you've got to find someone who can basically sketch a line outside of Arkansas and the other states to touch it. And you've got to be able to hit those states just as hard as the other schools that are hitting it. And you got to be able to go in and get those players, and you've got to have the NIL money in order to do so.
Absolutely.
And so I think whenever coach comes in, they've got to realize that you're not just a coach, you're a fundraiser. So you got to get out here and establish relationships so that companies are willing to give you the money to do it.
Facts.
I mean, without
Easier said than done.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, but it's doable.
It's doable, and it has to be discussed. And you've got to involve people that have done it. Even if you don't hire those people, they may have to be advisors, like a Houston Nutt. Yeah. I mean, even a Bobby Petrino. Yeah. I mean, we can say whatever we want. I mean, Bobby Petrino's still a good coach.
Oh, yeah. And he won here.
He's won here, and he wants to be here. Yeah. So even though his record doesn't necessarily justify that, I think you got to look at more than just the record before you make a decision.
Again, that's why you should be on the committee, my man. All right. How many people text you and say coach all the time? You get coached a lot?
Every day.
You get all kinds of things. You get guys like me, like Big Shot. You get Scotty.
I get coached every day because I still mentor some kids. Even though I'm not coaching, there's a lot of kids that I have relationships with that.
Is that one of your favorite titles, is coach?
Yeah, probably. I would say yes, because those relationships that you establish when you're coaching, I mean, people look at the on-the-floor stuff, but they don't think about the behind the scenes. You got a kid who doesn't have a father.
Right.
Or you've got a kid that relationship is strained with his family. Or you got a kid that has a dad who's overbearing about sports and not really talking to him about life. And
that happens a lot.
Happens most times, even when you have two-parent households, because there's a lot of pressure on these kids to live up to a certain expectation.
A lot of dads trying to live vicariously through their kids.
Yes, and it happens all the time. And so I just try to be that buffer for them, to give them someone else to talk to about not just sports, but about life, because at the end of the day, the athletic window is so short.
Yeah.
And then they've got to be able to live life, and once they start living life, what else have you equipped them with?
You're very calm person, Scotty. You give out that vibe. It makes sense that you're such a good basketball player. You don't seem like you let the highs and lows sink in too much. It's always good to have a conversation with you. I asked you about coach, but obviously you're dad, you're a husband, you're a grandpop, you're a friend, and obviously a rock star in the state of Arkansas. So never forget that. You know, folks around here love you. You gave them one of those memories that never goes away. That is way bigger than money, my friend.
Oh
You
no,
gave that to a lot of
no
people.
question. I mean, the state of Arkansas has been great to me. There's a reason why I haven't left. You know, don't have any intentions of leaving. And you know, that was one of the reasons. Even when I left Arkansas, I had other opportunities to go and coach other places, but I'm only concerned about one school. You know, and so even when my daughter committed to go to Carolina, I'm like, I got to support you. You're my child. I want to be there, but I'm all hog regardless of what anybody thinks or says. And when I stay away, I don't stay away because I'm upset with anybody. I just stay away because I don't want to be the center of attention all the time.
I know that about
I
you.
want these kids to be,
Yeah.
because I mean, this is their time.
Yeah.
So I just want to be there to support them. I sat in the stands at the last game, and I had the big time recruit Baba was in town, and they were sitting right behind me, and I just
Wow.
turned around, shook his hand, but I don't want to steal his shine, and I don't want to steal these other guys' shine. I want them to get everything they're supposed to get.
A rare bird, Scotty. Very grateful for your friendship. Thank you for your time
Yes, sir.
today.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
We can do more of this stuff. And I mean, you know, like I said, down the road when you're winning Emmys for your basketball commentating, you'll be like, yo, JB, that was nice that we hung out a couple times.
Whenever you're ready, I'm always ready, man.
He's the man. Big shot, Scotty Thurman. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us on Team B Media. And Scotty will do it again real soon, my guy.
Yes, sir. Look forward to it.
Y'all have a great weekend, my friends.